Hi, it's Julia. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you. Thank you for coming back. I am just mixing a little bit of paint. This is a different setup than I usually have. This video just kind of came to me. I wasn't planning on doing any filming today, but I just thought, let's do a little something different. I am working on Chase. I love this sculpt. I've wanted to paint him for a really long time. I started him a while ago, and I haven't really been painting him all that much, so I thought I'll sit down tonight. He needs veins. You can't tell, but he has all his mottling done. I started some shading. Just wipe that. I love his little fists. So he has all of his creases done as well. And so I'm gonna add his veining now. And I'm just mixing that. I am using the Genesis Heat Set paints. This is Vein Blue from Bountiful Baby. I've had it for literally years. So I wanted to chat about this story that is going around about this very young woman who had faked her pregnancy. And, I have to give credit to Belinda at Belinda's Babies. I left a comment over there. Hi, Belinda, if you are taking the time to watch. She's fantastic. She posted a video about this just the other day, and it got me thinking, this story's wild, and we can speculate why this woman had done the things that she had done. But really, what is upsetting to me about this story is what kind of impact it has on the Reborn community, and how people view us. Because I hadn't really looked into the story. I saw what it was. I saw it online a couple of times, and I didn't take the time to read about it. But then I did watch Belinda's video, and I thought she did a nice job of discussing it. So after that video, I wanted to know a little bit more. I wanted to see if I could find what Kira had said. So Kira Cousins, 22 years old, from Scotland. She faked this entire pregnancy by using prosthetic bumps, baby bellies, and posting pictures of her sonograms. Obviously, she was stealing them from other posts or something on social media. I mean, you can find whatever pictures. And she had convinced the father of she told this man that he was the father of this baby. And I know that his family was excited, her family was excited, her best friend. They were right there with her the whole way. She even had a gender reveal party. Yeah. And also what's really upsetting is that she lied about the baby's birth or having health problems. The baby supposedly had a heart defect, and shortly after the baby was born, the baby died. Really just it's just messed up. And people do things for many different reasons. We don't know if she has a mental health diagnosis. We don't know what her background is, so I don't even really want to get into that, because people lie, and they have reasons for it, and I'm suspecting that this had a lot to do with attention. You know, she's a young girl. She probably enjoyed the attention, but you know, we don't know her, so we can't say as to why she did it. I do know that one of her statements, she said that she was just in a really bad headspace. Whatever. I don't know. Like, I've been in bad headspaces before, and I know people who describe periods in their life as bad headspaces, and something like this doesn't happen, you know? So there's more to it than that. And it's sad. I guess her mother went to look at the baby while Kira was sleeping and saw that it was a doll. Just wild. But so as I was looking online about the story, I had watched a couple of videos posted by people that clearly are not in the Reborn community. Anyone that has done a video that's in the Reborn community obviously understands what Reborns are, blah, blah, blah. But not many other people, especially those who are trying to gain views. And, you know, I think there's shock value involved in speaking about reborns in such a way that makes them and the collectors seem extremely eccentric. And that's a nice way of putting it. Usually they say crazy and insane. And, you know, we're all aware of this. But it's just unfortunate that when things like this happen, then the rest of us have to do more explaining, defend ourselves even more, you know, and it makes me angry, kind of. You know, if you don't want to understand it, then fine, moving on. But it's frustrating when you hear, okay, so one of the guys that I had seen, it was just a short, he did a very quick short on what had happened with the story, and then he literally said, if you don't know what a reborn doll is a hyper-realistic, very expensive silicone doll that is used to, what did he say? That is given to mothers in the hospital when they lose a baby so they can pretend that they have given birth to a real baby, to a live baby. I'm like, what? That is not at all. It was just so ridiculous. Has a woman done that? Possibly, yeah, but that is not what a reborn doll is. And, you know, I am always telling people, because most of the time when people ask me about the dolls, it's, one, they want to know how much they are. They want to know how long they take me to make. And then they immediately start talking about how, oh, you know, they must be great for people who have lost a child or who can't have children. And then they will sometimes ask me, did you not have any children? And I'm like, well, yes, I did have children. I had 3. And, you know, yeah, they are great for mothers, possibly, if the mom feels comfortable with that, who has lost a child. Maybe it wouldn't be, you know, but reborn dolls are just hyper-realistic dolls. That's it. Yes, there are therapeutic benefits to having them in your life. They help with loneliness and anxiety and depression. That's why I love them. They are comforting. It's like a weighted blanket. I think it's fun. I enjoy doing all of the baby things. That's why I enjoy it. I miss my children being babies, and I get to do some of those baby things still. Fold the clothes, look for the clothes, look at the binkies, change a diaper, all those little things that we miss. Hold and snuggle babies as well, obviously. We do those things with the dolls, and yes, it feels good. But also, they're just really beautiful, and I love creating them because the artistic ability and process is intense. You know, it's not easy, and I'm constantly striving to make them, to improve my work and make them more realistic. As I'm sure all artists, and you know, the art has evolved over the years. You know, people's skills have improved, and so they have become hyper realistic. Like, they look amazing. They, you know, people don't know that they started in the 80s. At that time, you know, and I had one. There were these like hyper realistic vinyl dolls, anatomically correct vinyl dolls that were coming out. And I remember my grandmother bought me twins, a boy and a girl, off of like CVS. Do you remember that? Do you remember the, is that still a thing on cable? I don't have cable anymore. I just have like streaming networks. Is that still a thing where people like buy stuff on TV? Remember those shows where they would like advertise, and it was a whole show, and like the information would come up on the side of the screen, and you have to call the number for the jewelry or the clothing or whatever. And so my grandmother bought me a boy and a girl, and I remember the pee-pee looked so, the boy's pee-pee like freaked me out because I was like 6. And I was like, what? That's what it looks like? Yeah, so, but they weren't painted in any way. They were just anatomically correct, and they looked like real newborns, but they didn't have like coloring on them. So I think, you know, these dolls started coming out around then, in the 80s, early 90s, and so people started painting on them to make them look more real. And that's really how it got started. And of course, weighting them so they feel like real babies. Most people find them to be fascinating, find them to be lovely, you know, think that they're really cool. You know, it's hard not to be enamored with them because they are so lifelike. If you don't like dolls, if that is something that kind of freaks you out and scares you, like my son, when he was little, he was terrified of dolls. He's on the spectrum a little bit, and he could not handle like lifelike or old looking dolls, like porcelain looking dolls. He would freak out. So, you know, I understand, like, if you have a thing where you're not into dolls, okay, I get it, how you could think that like they're creepy, because they look very real. But I think they're beautiful, and that's all that matters. And other people think that they're beautiful. So we're not hurting anyone. So I'm not sure why there is this need to make it seem like it's this really crazy, bizarre thing. I don't get it. I mean, I don't have to tell you or anyone watching that, you know, we don't pretend that there are real babies. We understand that they're dolls, right? Do we role play? Yes. In that moment, we are holding it or feeding it or changing it like it's a real baby, but it doesn't become our child. And if that is happening, you know, I think there's probably some deeper issues going on, and you probably should think about that. I'm sure probably people have thought that way about me because I have mentioned that that's what it is for me. I enjoy my reborns because I want to have another child and I can't at this point in my life. I miss having my kids as babies. And so that's really what this is for me. I enjoy them because I miss that in my life. But do I treat them like they're my children? No. Like, I really haven't picked up Bear in, I don't know, 3-4 days. You know, it's not like I'm caring for them every day. It's not like I feel like I have to have them in my life every day. Veining is my favorite part of painting. I think it just, one, is really fun to do the placement of them and be creative. And once you get the veins on there and you pull that away and look at it, you're like, whoa, now it looks real. So, well, I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know if you saw this story, if you know anything about it, maybe something that I didn't mention. I didn't really get into much of the story and about her, just because, you know, like I said, people do things for many reasons, and what upset me is seeing how people were talking about reborns and the reborn community. And it's annoying, but that's something that we've been battling for many years, and all we can do is continue to help people understand, that are those that are willing to listen. If you don't want to hear, then bye. And that's how it should be with anything and anyone in your life. If someone doesn't respect you, if someone doesn't respect your happiness and the things that you do that make you happy when they are not hurting anyone else, then bye. Oh well, you know, I take them out. I used to be really nervous about it, and I still don't take them out to the grocery store all that much. I take them on outings, absolutely. I take them all over with us. Bear goes out with us, and I just do it. And usually no one says anything, and if anyone asks me about the baby, I let them look at the baby, and you can tell after a couple of seconds they are like, that looks like a doll, or he looks like a little doll, but they aren't sure. And then I'll say, well, that's because he is a doll. And then they freak out, and then they want to hold it, and they want to touch it, and they can't believe it. So rarely do I get anything negative. And like I said, if anyone says anything negative, move on. You'll probably never see that person again. And, you know, it's just somebody that is ignorant or unwilling to accept things that are different. And I think different is really cool. You know, I like weird. Not that it's weird, but I've always been someone that's like, weird is way better than normal. Weird keeps it fun. Different keeps it fun. I've always been different. I've always liked different things. And I've taught my kids to be comfortable with that as well. I don't know if you can see some of the veins in there. That's a little dark. I don't know what skin tone I'm going for with him yet. I see him as a very newborn. Oh, I didn't do his head. So I think he'll end up being pretty red. So I have some spaghetti sauce cooking for dinner tonight. My mom was Italian. My father's black. He is African American, descendant of slaves who came here through the Underground Railroad. We've traced that lineage, and he is also Bahamian. So his father was African American, and his mother was Bahamian. And then my mother is full-blood Italian. So, because of those two sides, I'd like to think that I know how to cook. Thank you for listening. Drop a comment down below if you have any more information about this. I'm going to go stir the sauce and possibly make some garlic bread. We'll see what everybody wants, if we're just going to eat it with some butter or if they want me to make some garlic butter and toast it up, because that sounds good. And I have to toss a salad together too. So I will see you next time. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. I have new content weekly. And make sure to hit the notification button so you know when I have new material up. And I will see you next time.